Hi, this is Eric at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and this is Florida Natural Farming. Today I'm going to do a video on rare fruit trees that we have here that haven't fruited yet. They are the Nauclea latifolia, the African peach. I gave some wrong information, so I want to go over that. It does not excrete tramadol. I guess the studies that they did were on plants where they have fed cattle tramadol, given cattle tramadol, and then they, pissed and crapped on the trees, and the tissues of the plant had tramadol in them. So you cannot get tramadol from a natural source. So that was a mistake. The African peach does not excrete tramadol when fed to animals. Anyway, also I'm going to do the Talisia floresii, the Talisia olivaformis, and that's called the Coloc. It's like a giant Longan, and the Olosapo. What is it called? It's oh, I can't think of the name offhand, but it's a really nice fruit tree. It's a Mayan fruit tree that has been growing indigenously for 2,000 years in South Mexico. But here we are, here we go. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in and commenting and liking, subscribing to my channel. I'm dedicated to try to help people grow and heal the planet and heal our people, because the news coming out is just not good. 80% increase in the amount of cancer in young people and children. It's the food. Just am shocked that it's never discussed. You should go to the doctor and they should ask you what you eat. They should ask, is it organic or is it not organic? Doctors don't really talk about eating organic. They just say it's better just to eat the food. Well, not anymore. Not with the chemicals and the pesticides and the fungicides and the herbicides and the toxic soup that's now in all our food, that we're consuming 15 pounds of chemicals per year in America on average. And it's causing all these health problems. And then they're all watering, because you have to use water with chemicals, and when you have monocrops. And the way they teach is completely wrong. University of Florida, please update your information on how to grow in the home landscape, because you don't include any organic methods, and that should be the first go-to for Florida, because it's so easy to grow organically here. It's just bizarre. So we started this farm 7 years ago. And originally we wanted to be organic, so I became organic certified. We wanted to be biodynamic, so I became biodynamic certified. But I make so many videos, and the stress of being organic and biodynamic certifications and real organic certified was so much for me, on top of everything else I do here, that I just had to stop. And I think my videos certify me. If you can't figure out how we grow from watching my videos, and you think that I'm still using chemicals and watering, you obviously aren't paying attention. So the Olosapo tree, Coupeia, Coupeia. I can't think of the second name, but I will. It's a really nice fruit, and believe it or not, I planted this little tiny tree here 3 years ago. We dry farm, we don't water anything. It looks so healthy finally. It was in full sun, and this was the most compacted spot in the entire yard. I know that all of our problems and everyone's problems across Florida is because of compaction, except maybe if you're on pure calcareous rock. And you could fix that, but if they tell you to use chemicals, and they tell you to water. Well, guess what? PVC is how most water is distributed. We put in new wells, and guess what they use? They use PVC. PVC leaches forever chemicals, which cause cancer, into the water. Here's one of our wells. I don't use it because I don't need to. I just don't have to. It's so unnecessary, and I'm so glad I don't, because the forever chemicals are coming out of the sprinklers when you turn on the sprinklers. There is no need to have sprinklers in this part of Florida, period. And so when you have sprinklers that are distributing water to you in your house, and or water lines that are distributing through PVC to your house, somewhere it's coming across PVC to get to you. They used to use copper, but they've changed that in recent years, and obviously they use metal pipes to put in wells, but now they use copper because Florida is so biologically active that it corrodes metal so quickly. So the Olosapo tree, let me just finish up on the PVC. It's vinyl chloride, PVC, vinyl floors, vinyl siding. It all leaches forever chemicals, which are hormone disruptors. You got to look at the whole system, what's going on with our people, rather than targeting transsexuals or drag queens, which is probably caused by the hormone. Some of it is caused by the hormone disruptors that are so prevalent in our air and water now. Everything moves through air and water. I go to LA. I try to go to LA or the Southern California once a year. I like it. I like parts of LA. Not all of it, of course, but I just like going there because it's so different than here. And I have friends there, and I just always enjoy myself. But I used to go to the beach in the early 80s, and all the time put on, sunscreen, iodine and baby oil. It's amazing. My skin at 61 is like not all wrinkly, considering I was a smoker and everything. I equate that to my diet. So when I was there last time, I was go look at the beach, but I looked at the beach, the sand. This is in Santa Monica, and it's got pink, blue, and white. Might as well say red, white, and blue. Specks all through it, like sand particles. It's all microplastic. That's all partly PVC, BPA bottles, everything. Florida is like so backwards on their agricultural education. I always look at University of Florida extension advice on home gardening. And so I looked up Olosapo. Thankfully, they didn't have any information on it. And then I looked up Talisia floresii, which I'm trying to look for right now. So we grow two types of Talisia floresii, two types of Talisias, floresii and Talisia olivaformis. It also goes by Melococcus olivaformis. They're unsure if it's the same plant, but they say it's different. So I assume it's different, but I have both of them here. I have multiples of them, thankfully, and they do really good. So that little Olosapo just doesn't grow, but eventually it will. It will grow. The kwai muck, the giant kwai muck next to it, did the same thing. It's due to the compaction, definitely. Here's a Talisia floresii. Seed grown. I'm looking for my Talisia melococcus that my friend Frank gave me, and it looks a lot better. It was bigger, and it's got new growth. It's getting more sun. I think it wanted a little more sun, but it's doing well. They do well here. They're a tropical plant, and for some reason, the Olosapo is a tropical plant too. They were never affected by the cold. It's just bizarre. It's bizarre that the UFL doesn't have recommendations to grow organic, because they tell you can't do it, basically. I mean, that's what they used to say to me. You can't grow organic here. We have bugs. This isn't California. Oh, please, give me a break. Modern science has shown us what the best natural conditions are to grow organic, and guess what? Florida has all of them. Unlimited water, unlimited calcium, and perfect temperature. Period. Just add cow manure. That's all you need to know, and stay off of it. So when I say everything is caused by compaction, It most certainly is. Somebody was saying that their oak tree had was rotting from the inside. That, you know, most people would say, oh, well, that's because it got damaged. You got to look at the whole picture. The tree cannot repair itself because its root structure is being destroyed from driving on it. Originally, when they mowed lawns, they used push mowers without gas, and then they switched over to gas mowers. They pushed, and now we're at riding mowers, and that just, it's more and more compaction, and the trees are dying, and the ones that aren't being killed by compaction are being ripped up and cut down here in Florida. It makes me sick. Makes me sick what they've done to Vero Beach. Removing all those trees along Indian River Boulevard, those people should be held accountable. The PVC class action lawsuit is coming. You watch. I looked it up to see what they did. It said it's in its infancy. They're going to have to shut down the pharmaceutical cartels and the chemical cartels. They're one and the same. So food and medicine, growing food and medicine is all one thing. It's all the same. It's all connected. They tell you, they don't even mention organic for growing stuff in Florida organically. Basically, they tell you can't do it by not saying. They don't even look. Which is why they were never able to. Hello, little lizard. Which is why they were never able to grow and fruit cacao. Till I started harping about it, and other people started growing it. But we don't water ours. You don't have to in Florida. We have so much water here from rain. If your tree is not growing naturally, it cannot survive drought. If you're removing all the plants from around the base of the tree and you're trying to dry farm, you're going to be unable to do it, especially if you're mowing the lawn. It's rock hard. Roots can't move through it. So we grow and fruit cacao, but I leave the weeds around the tree. You want carbon in the soil from plants. So I looked at, because I figured, well, I couldn't find Talisia, and I couldn't find, here's another Talisia, let me show it. I couldn't find Olosapo. There it is. And I couldn't find Nauclea latifolia, which is the African peach. I always look to see what the latest information is before I do these videos on a plant. So the Nauclea latifolia, where I got the information that it excretes tramadol, they did a correction. This is it. This is the African peach. I imagine it's going to fruit next year, if not this year. It looks like it's trying to do something now. I think it needs to bulk up a little bit. It's a very nice tree. The fruit's supposed to be like a giant strawberry, and has they use it indigenously for coughing, for coughs, to cure coughs. The plants heal. So the medicine, when you go to the doctor, the first thing they should all ask is write down what you eat in a day. Is it organic or not? Same with the plants. When people search out advice, my achachiro, which is what this is, has burnt leaves and it's in full sun. This was planted in full sun. It's never burnt the leaves. But rather than say, how do you grow it, organically or conventionally? They have the answer. Even though none of them grow a mass number of achachiro and have never grown them organically like this. It's screwed up. Totally screwed up. They should be asking, are you growing organically? Because if you're growing organically, then it's definitely your soil problem. If you're not growing organically, or, soil from compaction generally, or always. I'm going to say always, because it is the compaction. So where we're going with the compaction is they're moving over to electric vehicles to mow. And they weigh a lot more than the current zero turn or riding lawnmowers. So you watch what happens to those trees that get damaged in storms. They're all gonna start dying. I looked at, this is a seed grown sugarloaf mango, and it's looking quite big and nice. I looked at Achachiro on University of Florida to see what the recommendations were for that, because I figured enough people are growing it now that they were able to come up with a recommendation. So guess what? Achachiro has been grown indigenously, naturally. Naturally means no water in the forest or on the edge of the forest or whatever, but not with chemicals. But so for 2,000 years it's been grown. You know, I'm sure it's been grown since Mayan times. It's been grown natural in Bolivia, but they don't look at any of the indigenous knowledge, period. They didn't look at it in Olosapo. They won't. I know they won't. Olosapo has been grown naturally for 2,000 years. Obviously with success, if it's still around, the African peach grows in dry savannas. Nobody looks at the indigenous knowledge, which is where we're finding these trees. We're a nation of narcissists that follow dogma. Stupid narcissists. That's what we are. And then we've exported it around the world, and we're killing everyone one microplastic at a time. Something's got to change. The youth of today is going to hate old people in 20 years for sure, for not speaking up. I don't want to be one of those people that didn't say anything. It's just mind-boggling to me at the ignorance. So I really kind of, I know there's some really good growers that come out of University of Florida, but I've only had one person from University of Florida, a recent organic graduate, who came here and said that I'm doing stuff that they actually teach you cannot do in Florida, because they don't know what they're doing. They are getting money from the chemical cartels to teach people how to destroy the planet. And it's really hard to go up against that. In fact, my partner is afraid for me because I speak up so much. That's okay. I'm not afraid. It's just a shame that it's a place so beautiful that could be rival Costa Rica in its ability to grow food naturally is being destroyed. One chemical, one plastic, one ignorant person at a time. Just, I don't know, it's just, I say I want to sell, or would be open to selling, but I really do love this farm, and I'm not sure that that's ever going to happen, but I am open to selling this place because it's not good for my health here. I know that the water is polluted. I know that we only have like 7 more years of fresh water left in Florida, clean water, because there it's so polluted. And people just don't understand this. So you don't have to do the weeds, even though this is a powerhouse of phytochemicals that have shown to be bioactive compounds. In other words, they make pharmaceuticals from it, more than 41. So it's a powerhouse, but they lump everything that they don't plant as a weed. My cows love that stuff. I give it to my little baby. I harvest it along the paths. I don't collect off the paths because it's a butterfly habitat and insect pollinators. They know all this information. They're more progressive around the world. Florida's like super backwards when it comes to growing because they say it's hard to grow here. It's called Florida for a reason. It's very easy. Obviously, it's pretty easy if I can grow all this stuff and fruit. I get people that want to buy fruit. Had somebody call yesterday. We just are not at the point where we have fruit available for sale to ship out year round. That's why I've been planting bananas. I want something that I could sell year round. And the fruit that we have here, people want, and you know, I want, and my partner wants, and my friends that come by here want, that I've met. I'm just not into selling stuff. I think that Chichiro. I think that food and colleges should all be free, or you know, trade to help each other. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help each other and help animals, not look out for your one tree in your yard that's going to give you 50 mangoes one year and kill everything else. Mow your lawn down and compact everything and spray copper all over everything. We need anthracnose, University of Florida, in our trees because it is beneficial. It's not beneficial when you have killed all the life in the soil. You need to update your recommendations. So that's what I was going to say, and I forgot. The recommendations from the University of Florida Ag Extension. You know, everyone has an Ag Extension office here. So when I started this farm, I went down there and with my partner and told them what we were doing and kind of explained and made an appointment for them to come out. Well, they called a couple days before that appointment date and rescheduled to their time, which is fine. I understand people have stuff that comes up. They might get sick or whatever. But then they never showed up and never called back. That's why I say when I'm coming for you, you need to change. You need to change. You need to stop killing people, and you need to stop preaching dogma that's not true. So I looked at, because the achachiro, that's where I was going. So the achachiro, I thought I would look to see how they suggest to grow that, because it's been grown indigenously for 2,000 years. I didn't continue on with that. I got distracted or something. My mind went elsewhere, sorry. So I look, and there it is. They said they don't have information to grow achachiro, but they recommend you follow what they say for lychees. Okay, you don't recommend, but you do recommend. And then they provide a link to the lychees. So I click on the lychees. You know, they suggest to water them. I've never watered any of our plants in. Even my little red sugar, or Adamoya, red flesh sugar, Adamoya that I planted. I never watered in. We have good soil. This is good soil. When you look at something like this, you know it's good soil. It's all aggregated. This is not good soil. Never will be good soil unless you let it grow out. So they recommend you do it like the lychees. And so they recommend you water them for the first 4 years and give them a quarter cup of fertilizer a week. I think it was 6-8% nitrogen. Excuse me, but trees should be getting less than 5% nitrogen. Which is why it's like the perfect number that's in cow manure and compost. But then they say, and if you have to use compost, mix it in the soil in the ratio of 1:1. That's a wrong answer. Don't mix any in the soil. And if you insist on it, do it in like a teaspoon or a quarter cup. But I remove all of the soil from all plants I get, whether they're my plants I start or plants I buy or plants I get from friends. Plants I buy, I throw the soil away because I know it's all chemical infused toxic stuff. So I throw it away to the dump, which is where it belongs. And unless you just don't believe that food is causing our illness, the pollution in food, then eat up your chemicals. They're not here to make you healthy. They're here to make you sick, which is why they do the pharmaceuticals the same way. So they look at one thing at a time, like, oh, they tell you to apply micronutrients. Excuse me. Every plant contains every micronutrient your other plants need. So if you have a wide range of plants, there's no reason why you should have to apply micronutrients. But if you have mowed lawn and your tree is unable to cycle nutrients naturally because it's being fed chemicals and you compacted the soil and the water runs off, then by all means, you're going to have to apply micronutrients. Even though they probably aren't working, they're just going to run off into the lagoons and the waterways. So they don't mention, even though Chichiro from Bolivian mangosteen, that's what it is. It's not the Australian mangosteen, it's the Bolivian mangosteen. Sorry, Australia, I know you're much more progressive than we are here in Florida, much more. But you got to look at how Bolivia grows them. What is wrong with us? We just don't think that people of color have the intelligence. Obviously, if our world was if India was, if we followed their format and a lot of indigenous cultures, our planet would be a lot healthier and we would be a lot healthier. Kids probably wouldn't be getting cancer at the rates they're getting. Cancer is caused from pollution, which is in our water and our air now. You can't have vinyl chloride pipes bringing water to the masses and think that it's not in the water, unless you just don't believe, which takes a certain kind of stupid to think like that. This is loaded in fruit, this Monstera deliciosa. I've given this fruit away to people. Like I said, I like to give fruit away. That's pretty much what I do. Trade fruit for plants, make friends. I want to help people. People that come by here want to learn how to grow. This is getting ready to bloom. So I gave some of these to my friends, and told them to, pick them when they're ripe, and I told them how to ripen it. And if you don't eat it ripe, it's got like calcium oxalate. Well, they instantly said, "Oh, I cut my throat." That's bullshit. Sorry for the foul language, but that's just you're imagining that. I'm positive. I've eaten enough of it to know that that's just not true. You can't make this stuff up. But if you hear something, it most likely, if you see the effects of all these pharmaceuticals that they create, they're just like the different chemicals and fungicides they create. They're not healing anyone. They're just disguising the problem so that they make people more stupid and more ill. One causes the other. One pharmaceutical pill causes another one. I know that you can heal yourself through food, clean food, but it has to be grown correctly. Anyway. It's looking good. I was going over to that Garcinia Gardneriana because this African peach is so amazing. I can't wait to taste the fruit off this. I can't wait to see the growing recommendations from UFL on it. It'll come. All the growing recommendations are the same. That doesn't surprise me because all the trees here are treated the same too. So all of our trees get the exact same thing. It's just location is different. Amount of shade. Some of the trees, some of the old trees like the Biodynamic have been destroyed through the use of water-soluble fertilizers. And so if you try to grow them naturally, because of the years and years and years and years being fed water-soluble fertilizers, they've completely pretty much forgotten how to, you couldn't plant it in the ground and expect it to survive without water in it and some extra care. But they're like the aeroids that I grow. They took a year in my compost before they were able to grow on their own. I'd plant them and they'd die, or I'd put them out on the thing and think that they would live and they would die. But they come back, and after they've been in the pots for years, so I imagine Biodynamics after they've been in the ground for a while, or in compost, organic certifiable compost or comparable that you make. You know what's organic and what's not. Would be able to do it. I just don't experiment with them because my partner has hiatal hernia, and the skin of those causes him to have he's fairly cured of the hiatal hernia now, causes him to have an episode with it gets caught in his throat. So do these, but you can eat the flesh of these, whereas Biodynamic, it's like watery grape with a giant seed. Nice flavor and gorgeous trees. I think everyone should grow them. But we are ruining them. So yeah, the average lifespan of I forgot to finish that. Average lifespan of a citrus tree now in Florida is 15 years. And these are long-lived trees that live more than 75 years. But because of the compaction and because of our climate and because of all the chemicals they use, they just don't have an immune system. It's not the bug. That's what I mean about chemicals. The agro systems and the pharmaceuticals are one and the same. So they look at it like it's caused by the insect, the greening. Yeah, it could be caused by the insect, and the tree should be able to overcome it. But because the tree has no immune system because of the way you're growing it, it can't, and so it succumbs. The reason why it hasn't gotten to California is because they don't use the chemicals we use here, and they're not on sand, so their soil doesn't get as compacted as the same way. A lot of it's the compaction. So all the stuff they put on there, they just run off into the waterways and go into the air. It's frustrating, but I know that you guys want these type of videos, the rant videos. I feel like I'm a climate activist more than a grower, but I do it through growing. I curate information because I can get sucked into like black holes of quantum physics and stuff like that, or bioactive compounds. I try to curate my research into just striving to understand how to grow better. I think I have grasped the knowledge fairly well, since this mimics pretty much the videos I see of indigenous peoples that grow the trees. Beautiful indigenous growing methods, biodiverse growing methods. We need biodiversity for life to grow and survive. Anyway, I probably jumped all over the place, but this is Eric at Frog Valley Tropical Fruit Farm, and this is Florida Natural Farming, and I hope you try to help fix what's wrong and try to change for the better of humanity and the planet. Have a wonderful day.